Brace yourself, because what you're about to hear makes the Kardashians look like they run a quiet book club. This isn't drama. This is a full-blown cosmic meltdown, the kind of chaos that makes news network executives sprint into the parking lot just to scream into the air. Chrisean Rock's entire world just cracked open like a cheap phone screen, and the internet is acting like they witnessed a celebrity apocalypse in real time. 1 minute she's flexing on Instagram, glowing, vibing, doing that signature I run the world walk. And the next minute, boom, $1 million debt leak drops out of the sky like a financial asteroid. People didn't just clutch their pearls. They locked their phones, reopened them, and said, "Ain't no way." But oh no, the universe wasn't done playing with her. Because right when the smoke was still rising from that 7-figure disaster, another bomb detonated a mysterious GoFundMe for baby Junior, popping up like a secret-coded message from the chaos gods. Who started it? Why? How? And why does it look like the plot twist nobody saw coming? Grab your snacks, hide your wallet, and silence your notifications, because the truth behind this mess is louder than Blueface's entire mixtape era. And we're diving straight into it. The second the internet caught wind of that 7-figure disaster hanging over Chrisean Rock's head, it was like someone flipped the chaos switch and every corner of social media erupted at the same time. People weren't just gossiping, they were sprinting like TMZ interns on free coffee. Overnight, the whole timeline turned into a digital crime scene, with folks digging through old clips, past interviews, and ancient Instagram lives like they were investigating a celebrity Bermuda Triangle dot at the center of it. A leak claiming that Chrisean Rock was drowning in over $1 million of debt, a number so big it had fans asking if she accidentally bought a small country. The whispers didn't creep out slowly, they exploded. One moment the rumor was floating around quietly, the next it was plastered across blogs, Twitter threads, TikTok stitches, and your cousin's group chat. People were analyzing it like they were stock traders watching Bitcoin fall. Screenshot after screenshot showed supposed invoices, failed payments, and wild speculation about where this towering debt came from, according to the earliest whispers. This wasn't your everyday collection of parking tickets or unpaid Wi-Fi bills. This was the kind of debt that makes celebrities pretend they're on a spiritual retreat just to avoid answering calls. Word on the street was that the $1 million mountain didn't appear overnight. It built up over time through lawsuits, broken contracts, and paid fees, and the kind of behind-the-scenes chaos that only celebrity lifestyles can generate. Fans remembered the fights, the smashed TVs, the broken doors, the last-minute cancellations, the lawsuits flying like Nerf darts. And suddenly the math matched a little too well. But the internet didn't stop there. No, they needed answers like this was the final season of a messy reality show. Why now? Who leaked it? And why did the numbers look like someone hit 0-15 extra times? People started pointing fingers at everyone, ex-partners, old managers, Zeus Network interns who've seen too much, accountants with grudges, security guards who overheard one too many arguments, and even Blueface's mother, because let's be honest, she always ends up somewhere in the mix whether invited or not. And just when fans were still processing the thought of Chrisean possibly fighting off a debt monster the size of a small skyscraper, another curveball dropped. A GoFundMe started for baby JR. The internet froze. A GoFundMe? For Chrisean? For Junior? For anything involving this family. Instant meltdown. People clicked that link faster than they've ever clicked anything before. And when the page loaded, confusion spread like wildfire. There it was, a fundraiser for Chrisean's son, launched without warning, without explanation, and without a single verified reason behind it. The campaign asked for money to support Junior, but the details were vague enough to send the internet into detective mode instantly. Some fans felt sympathy, others were skeptical. And then you had the conspiracy theorists who look at everything like it's a puzzle from National Treasure. They started zooming in on screenshots, checking timestamps, comparing usernames, and making threads longer than airport security lines. They weren't letting this slide, not after the $1 million reveal. The biggest question bouncing around every corner of social media was simple. Why would a celebrity, especially one constantly in the spotlight, have a GoFund started for her child? People started arguing like this was the season finale of a controversial reality show. Some said the GoFund was a scam. Others insisted it was launched by someone trying to embarrass her. And a few swore it was a PR stunt gone wrong. Meanwhile, fans who genuinely cared about Junior were stuck in the middle, unsure whether to donate, report the page, or just sit back with popcorn. But then things got even weirder. People began claiming they recognized the person who created the fundraiser. According to early chatter, the organizer wasn't some distant fan or random troll. It looked like someone who knew Chrisean, someone who had been around her, someone with access to her world. This ignited the internet like someone dropped gasoline into a trending hashtag. Suddenly, you had influencers, bloggers, and self-declared culture analysts dropping their own theories. Some said the GoFund was a cry for help behind the scenes. Others claimed it was sabotage. A few blurted out that Blueface must be somewhere laughing, taking screenshots for future petty posts. And then there were the fans who insisted they knew exactly what was happening because they watched every single argument, livestream, and meltdown involving this entire family tree. But beneath all the noise, one detail kept haunting people. The GoFund appeared right after the debt leak. Right after. Like minutes after. Like someone hit post before the smoke even cleared. It made the whole situation feel coordinated, or at least suspiciously timed. And if there's anything the internet loves more than drama, it's drama that looks like a conspiracy. People started merging the two controversies together, creating theories so wild they might as well be movie plots. Some believe the debt leak was a setup, a strategically timed embarrassment campaign. Others claim the GoFund was created by someone trying to take advantage of the moment, capitalizing on public sympathy. And then you had the truly chaotic group who said both events were connected through cosmic karma. Like the universe decided to drop a scandal double feature with no intermission, Chrisean herself stayed quiet, at least at first. And that silence made everything worse. Silence online is like blood in the water. It attracts every shark, every critic, every commentator with a ring light and a Wi-Fi password. People started making entire TikTok series analyzing her facial expressions from 5-month-old videos, trying to decode if she knew this was coming. Others pulled up screenshots from her Instagram stories to see if she posted a vague quote that could secretly confirm the rumors. Meanwhile, blogs pumped out articles and podcasts sprinted to microphones like they were competing in the content Olympics. Everyone wanted to be first, not right. And in that rush, the story grew bigger, messier, and way more dramatic than anyone expected. One blogger claimed they had insider sources alleging Chrisean owed money across several states. Another said the debt was connected to destroyed properties. Someone else swore the number included medical bills, legal fees, unpaid taxes, streaming fines, court penalties, and possibly an overdue Amazon cart. People weren't even trying to sound realistic. They were throwing accusations into the air like confetti and hoping one stuck. But amid all this noise, one thing stood out like a neon sign. Everything was happening too fast, too loud, too conveniently. The leak, the fundraiser, the silence, the frenzy. It felt like a perfect storm that didn't naturally form. It erupted. And everyone sensed it, because deep down, people weren't just watching a scandal. They were watching a collision, a chaotic domino chain triggered by something bigger, something deeper, something lurking behind the scenes, and nobody was ready for how explosive it would get next. The moment the GoFund and million-dollar debt rumors collided, the internet mutated into a digital gladiator arena. TikTokers were stitching the story before they even finished reading it. YouTubers were preparing thumbnails like they were submitting them to the Grammys. Twitter, or X, depending on how much you like pain, transformed into the Hunger Games. People weren't just commenting. They were launching full-blown dissertations like they were applying to an Ivy League drama studies degree program. And then came the memes. The memes. One meme had Chrisean sprinting away from a giant avalanche labeled Bills. Another showed Junior looking confused with the caption, "When you wake up and find out you have a GoFund before you can even talk." Someone edited Seuss Network. executives chasing Chrisean with calculators, which honestly felt too close to reality. TikTok comedians were reenacting imaginary phone calls, where Chrisean tried to negotiate debt payments using vibes and attitude alone. But the real explosion came when celebrities started chiming in, because nothing goes viral faster than rich people pretending to be relatable for 5 minutes. First up, Blueface, the unofficial spokesperson for petty commentary. He didn't even need to say anything. People automatically assumed he was about to drop screenshots, receipts, GPS coordinates, and a 15-page thread exposing everything. Fans kept refreshing his stories like they were waiting for a season finale. Every hour he didn't post felt like a countdown to the next earthquake. Then Carlissa, Blueface's mother, entered the conversation the way she always does, loudly, dramatically, and without a single ounce of hesitation. She hopped online insinuating that none of this surprised her. According to her, the entire financial universe of Chrisean Rock was about as stable as a wobbly folding table at a family barbecue. Her tone gave "I tried to tell y'all" energy, even though she's usually the one who lights the match and walks away smiling. Meanwhile, fans dragged Zeus Network into the chaos, claiming the company knew everything all along. Some people insisted that Zeus probably has a folder labeled Chrisean Problems, updated hourly. They theorized the network was preparing a 6-episode special titled Chrisean vs. Her Bank Account, Judgment Day. And honestly, it sounds like something they'd approve in 5 minutes. But the plot twist no one expected arrived when a few influencers swore up and down that they had connections who confirmed the GoFund wasn't just random. It linked back to someone close to Chrisean, not an enemy, not a troll, a real-life person within proximity. That's when the internet freaked out so hard you could practically hear the collective gasp. People were tearing through old live streams to match usernames, voice patterns, typing styles. Yes, typing styles like forensic analysts. Everyone wanted the organizer's identity like it was a hidden treasure map. The idea that this fundraiser wasn't from a stranger but someone in her orbit sent shockwaves through the fan base. And once people started connecting dots, the conspiracy theories evolved into blockbuster-level plots. Some fans were convinced the debt leak and GoFund drop were a coordinated ambush, a digital jump. Others claimed this was karma spinning the block with a vengeance. A few argued it was Chrisean's inner circle trying to force her to clean up her finances by embarrassing her publicly. And then came the wildest theory of all, that the GoFund was launched internally as a way to fund something specific for Junior. But the internet got hold of it before anyone could explain anything. The drama was cooking so hard Gordon Ramsay would have bowed his head in respect. Then came the shade from other celebrities. Rock personalities started posting cryptic stories like they were prophets. Subtweets flew like arrows. Industry insiders claimed they saw this coming because the lifestyle isn't sustainable. People who hadn't interacted with Chrisean in years suddenly became experts, delivering monologues on stability, motherhood, finances, and fame. Even though half of them couldn't manage their own bank accounts, influencers went live, dragging the situation so hard that viewers were screen recording like they found buried treasure. Everyone wanted a piece. Everyone wanted clout. Even people with 38 followers were dropping insider tea like they were sitting at the Illuminati table. Then JR's name started trending, not because of anything the baby did, but because the internet is chaotic and will drag a toddler into a storm without blinking. People made jokes, others defended the child fiercely. And a war broke out between those who believed the GoFund was legit and those who were convinced it was either fraudulent or messy. At the peak of the chaos, someone leaked messages claiming Chrisean didn't approve the fundraiser at all. If that were true, then this situation was about to blow wide open. A GoFund tied to her son without her consent. That's not scandal, that's nuclear content. People debated whether Chrisean would address it or stay silent. Some said she'd hop on Instagram Live and scream her truth. Others said she'd avoid the convo entirely. The possibilities were endless, and every theory had a fanbase like opposing sports teams, The drama escalated when commentators dug through old clips of Chrisean talking about money, struggles, blessings, and battles. Every quote was dissected like scripture. Viewers were using freeze frames, zooming in on expressions, analyzing her sentences like they were studying the Dead Sea Scrolls. The internet treated her like a Marvel character whose origin story suddenly made sense with the new villain reveal. But the most explosive reactions came from the general public, regular people, who had watched the chaos unfold for months and felt like they were finally seeing the volcano erupt. Some people said Chrisean's downfall was inevitable because fame was moving faster than responsibility. Others blamed the people around her for enabling the mess. Some argued that she was always the target, that the industry thrives on breaking women down and feeding off their pain. And then there were those who simply laughed, because the internet loses empathy faster than you can refresh a page. Every platform became a courtroom. Every user became a judge. Every influencer became a prosecutor. Every meme became evidence. This wasn't drama anymore. It was a digital earthquake, and everyone felt the tremors. Even brands started joining the conversation subtly. A couple of companies made posts about financial literacy that fans claimed were indirect shots at Chrisean. Someone joked that Cash App should sponsor her. Another said TurboTax probably fainted. People were getting roasted left and right, even if they had nothing to do with the situation. And still, through all the noise, one detail kept getting repeated. The timing of the leak and the fundraiser felt too perfect, too synchronized, too suspicious. It was giving plot twist written by Shonda Rhimes. It was giving season finale cliffhanger energy. It was giving there's more behind this than anyone is admitting, and the public couldn't look away, because if there's one thing the internet loves, it's seeing a celebrity's world get shaken like a snow globe. But this time, it wasn't just a shake. It was a full-blown blizzard, a financial winter storm, a chaotic hurricane hitting every shore of Chrisean's life. People were waiting for someone, anyone, to explain the truth. Fans begged for clarity. Haters fueled the fire. Commentators kept speculating. And as the noise grew louder, the pressure around Chrisean reached a breaking point. Everyone knew it. Everyone felt it. Everyone sensed something major was coming next. Because scandals this loud don't just fizzle out, they detonate, and this one wasn't done exploding. When the storm reached its highest pitch, the world waited for the inevitable. The moment Chrisean Rock finally snapped, spoke, clapped back, or broke the internet again, whichever came first. Because every scandal has an expiration date, but this one wasn't fading. It was mutating. It was growing arms, legs, Wi-Fi, and a personality of its own. The chaos had become self-aware. And the first sign of aftermath came quietly. Chrisean broke her silence. Not with a screaming rant. Not with a meltdown. Not with furniture flying in the background. She dropped a few lines that sent the internet spiraling all over again. A brief statement, simple, undramatic, calm, suspiciously calm. The kind of calm that makes you wonder if someone's about to throw a Molotov cocktail or walk away enlightened. She denied ever approving the GoFund. She downplayed the debt rumors. And she hinted, just hinted, that certain people were moving grimy behind the scenes. That was all it took. Social media combusted like someone plugged the toaster into an active volcano. Everyone had an opinion. Even people who didn't have an opinion earlier suddenly woke up with one. Ready to recite it like a TED Talk, fans took her side instantly, flooding comments with love, defense, and motivational slogans you'd usually find in self-help books. Haters also activated, as if they were hired to provide commentary. And the spectators? Oh, they were having the time of their lives. But Chrisean's calm response did more than put her back in the spotlight. It shifted the entire narrative. Suddenly, people weren't just questioning the debt. They were questioning motives. They wanted names. They wanted receipts. They wanted to know who woke up one morning and said, "You know what? Let me create a fundraiser for a celebrity's child without permission." Because that wasn't just shady, that was Olympic-level boldness. And that's when the consequences started to ripple across every direction. Like dominoes falling in slow motion, the first wave hit her circle, the people who claim to love her, support her, protect her, and occasionally fight her in parking lots. Eyes turned toward anyone who ever claimed proximity. Everyone was now a suspect. Anyone who had access became a potential culprit. Old friends, former supporters, ex-staff, distant cousins who show up at family events only when there's food. The tension became so thick you could butter it on toast. Influencers who once stood beside Chrisean suddenly went silent, fearing the internet would pin the fundraiser on them. TikTok creators who used to duet her videos paused their content. Even messy bloggers started tiptoeing, not wanting to end up being accused of launching the mysterious GoFund. But the biggest consequence wasn't within her circle, it was within her public image. Chrisean Rock has always walked a fine line between being loved for her raw authenticity and criticized for her chaos. But this scandal pushed her into a strange new territory, public sympathy mixed with public confusion. A hybrid reaction that made her both victim and wildcard at the same time. People began asking real questions. Was she being set up? Was she being exploited? Was someone weaponizing her reputation for attention or clout? Was this part of a bigger internal feud the public hadn't been told about? Suddenly, the focus shifted from laughing at the mess to investigating the mess. The internet became a magnifying glass pointed directly at the people around her. Even Blueface's occasional smirks didn't go unnoticed. People were studying him like he was a halftime show performance. Zeus Network stayed quiet, which made the situation even more dramatic. Fans wondered if Zeus executives went into crisis mode, assembling emergency meetings, passing around iced coffees, and whisper yelling, "Fix it." Because let's be honest, if any platform benefits from chaos, it's Zeus. But even they knew this scandal hit a little too close to home. A situation involving a baby. That's a storyline you don't touch without gloves. Meanwhile, Junior, a toddler who has no idea the internet treats him like a trending character, became the center of the universe. Every discussion, argument, and conspiracy somehow looped back to the question, how does this affect the baby? The public shifted into parental mode, lecturing each other about protecting children from online drama while simultaneously dragging every adult involved. And through all this, the million-dollar debt rumor continued haunting the conversation like an uninvited ghost. Even after Chrisean dismissed it, the topic refused to die. Some people believed her instantly. Others demanded proof. A few extremists started analyzing her old purchases like accountants on caffeine. But the truth is, the debt rumor had already done its damage. Even if it weren't real, the idea alone had reshaped how people viewed her stability. It planted seeds of doubt. And in the world of celebrities, perception matters more than reality. A rumor doesn't need to be true. It just needs to be loud. Then came the emotional aftermath, the part nobody expected. Behind the sarcasm, behind the memes, behind the arguments, some fans started expressing genuine concern. They talked about how Chrisean always seems to be carrying the world on her shoulders. How she struggles, fights, survives, and keeps moving no matter how many obstacles get thrown her way. They wondered if this situation was just another example of her being surrounded by chaos that she didn't create. But the dark side of fame also surfaced. People talked about how the entertainment industry thrives on breaking down the very people it profits from. They pointed out how Chrisean's every move becomes a headline, a joke, a clip, a meme, a monetized moment. And scandals like this are exactly the type of firestorm that feeds algorithms. Still, even with concerns rising, the public couldn't resist the drama. It's the curse of celebrity culture. We love the spectacle even when it burns up. By now, the internet had turned the drama into a trilogy, complete with plot twists, side characters, antagonists, and a baby who somehow ended up being the main focal point without doing anything. And that brings us to the most important part of the fallout, the future. Because scandals don't end. They transform. They evolve. They branch out like messy family trees. And this one It's only beginning. The potential consequences stretch far beyond this moment. Will this push Chrisean to cut people off? Will she rebuild her circle? Will certain names come forward to clear the air? Will the GoFundMe creator be exposed publicly? Will Zeus capitalize on this behind the scenes? Will Blueface escalate things for attention? Will this shift Chrisean's brand, image, or next move? One thing is clear. A spotlight this bright doesn't just fade, it scorches. Every eye is now locked on her next step. Every platform is waiting. Every blogger is drafting headlines in advance. Every influencer has their ring light on standby. Because once a celebrity gets hit with a double scandal, a debt leak and a GoFundMe scandal in the same breath, the world expects a comeback, a breakdown, or a revelation. And knowing Chrisean Rock, she's going to deliver something unforgettable. Whether it's clarity, chaos, redemption, or pure wildfire energy, whatever she does next will make this moment feel like just the opening act. Because this isn't the end. This is the foreshadowing, the setup, the cliffhanger the universe writes when it's preparing the next viral earthquake. And for everyone watching, buckle up, you haven't seen the craziest part yet. And there you have it. Another day in the chaos multiverse where celebrity drama hits harder than a surprise plot twist on a midnight Netflix binge. If your jaw is still on the floor, don't even bother picking it up, trust me. You'll need it down there for whatever comes next. Because with this crew, scandals pop up more often than ads on a sketchy streaming site. 1 minute it's everything's fine, and the next it's million-dollar debt leaks, mystery GoFundMes, and social media acting like Judgment Day rolled in early. But listen, if you survive this roller coaster, you're officially built for the wild ride we take every single day. So do what real chaos connoisseurs do. Smash that like button like it owes you child support. Hit subscribe like you're trying to crack the screen. Drop a comment like you're testifying in court. And turn on notifications the same way Chrisean turns on Instagram. Live aggressively, emotionally, and way too fast. I want to hear your theories, your predictions, your unhinged analysis, your I knew it moments, your this is why I don't trust nobody speeches, all of it. Because the truth is, every time we think the drama is done, this universe says, "Hold my mic," and drops another bomb right in the middle of the timeline. And you already know we'll be right here when that happens, front row, popcorn ready, eyes wide, waiting for the next explosion. If you're craving the truth, the lies, the rumors, the tea, the mess, the madness, the mayhem, and the moments that make the Kardashians look like background characters, you're in the right place. Stay locked in, stay dramatic, and stay ready. Because the next scandal is already loading. This has been Vibe Crave, where the chaos never sleeps. And neither do we.